play? And also, but before we go outside, what responsibility do citizens have? So this is the last set of questions for all of us.
Yeah.
And it's not Fanta alone. People are making comments, but since you are in a studio, what responsibility should citizens have? What responsibility does the political class have? Then what role should regional corporation play? So maybe start with us as citizens. What immediate step?
Well, rediscover your love for Liberia.
Okay.
Like fall back in love with Liberia. Because we are deceitful people, we are liars. We are not truthful people. And so when I say we're easily swayed by the wind, we're easily manipulated, we've adopted such a partisan political culture,
Mm,
individualistic culture that has not served us. Oh, I Baka man. Oh, I we are man. Oh, I Ellen man.
mm,
Or Ellen woman. Are you Liberia man? Are you Liberia woman? Are you Liberia youth? Or your identity is tied to a political entity when your identity should be tied to the nation.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm,
It doesn't say
mm-hmm.
CDC on your passport. It doesn't say Unity Party on your passport. It doesn't say XYZ on your passport. It says Liberia. Your lineage, your obligation, your dedication, your priority should be Liberia first.
Mhm.
Liberia first and Liberia always. If it does not serve Liberia, don't partake in that discourse because it does not serve you. It does not serve you. It does not serve your people. It does not serve your children. It does not serve your socioeconomic status. A population of 5 million where 70+% are experiencing unemployment. What does that say? We, the people, too, have a responsibility in this because it is only us who can hold our leaders accountable. But how do we hold them accountable when we have not arrived at the fact, the justification for which we should be holding them accountable? Can we say in ourselves formidably that we love Liberia to a point where we will not compromise our love for her, we will not compromise her welfare for the sake of our party, for the sake of
Mm.
the individual?
Party politics, partisan
It
politics.
has eroded the very moral emblems that we should always uphold as a people, which is truth and nation. We have become more tribalistic and
Mm-hmm.
less of citizens. What does that make us of a people? We too are responsible. So you ask, what is our responsibility? Fall back in love with Liberia. Because when you speak, and you're speaking not because you're affiliated with a party this or party that, you're speaking on behalf of Liberia. Your motivation is deep within your heart. It is in your bellow. You feel it. The courage that you feel when you say, I speak for Liberia, I am not bought. The inspiration, the motivation that you get is priceless. It's not worth any cup of rice. It's not worth any t-shirt. It's not worth any $1 bill. It's not worth any $2 bill. Because you're going to eat that cup of rice and you're going to poop it out. You're going to take that $1 and buy something with it and then it's gone. Where is your lineage? Where is your loyalty? We are not patriotic enough. Let's be nationalistic again. Then we can stand and say, let's hold our leaders accountable. So that's going to be the first thing we have to do. We can't go to, oh, let's hold them accountable. How do you hold them accountable? Hold yourself accountable first. Look yourself in the mirror and say, do I love Liberia? If I do, okay, then I'm marching to the Capitol building. Let it do what I want to do. I'm marching to the Capitol building because of Liberia. And I'm marching there because I get called from some opposition or for someone in the government to say, oh, go and go march. Nobody controls me. You are obligated to God first and foremost. Second is nation. We should be reminded by that. We are not. Because we're not truthful. We're greedy. And greed has always been the downfall of man. In any era, any empire, they fall because of greed. So, wake up from the slumber and fall back in love with Liberia. That's the best thing that you can do. You will find your answers after that. As a state, we need to start putting resources and infrastructures in place to combat the rise, the continuous rise. You saw it in those international articles, the continuous rise of illicit activities in our country. Look, Africa loses about $100 billion like every year to illicit financial activities, and probably even more than that. Liberia loses $1 billion every year. That's not even including the drugs. Why would we compromise 2 million of our people? Do you know what 2 million or 5 million is? Y'all do the math. I suck at math. I'm an analyst. But y'all do the math. You sacrifice 2 million of your people? We're in 2026. You have seen bust 500 plus million, bust nearly like $1 billion. We're crying about 19 million in 2026. And just to add, this 19 million drug bust is not the only one. It's just the one that was caught. More than that, more than 500 kilograms of drugs are still in this country. Some have already left, but some are still here. The one that made it to the airport, the 200 something. How about we focus on actually ridding our entire system of drugs? Maybe it's impossible, some might say, but let's try. Stop being such corrupt hopo Joes. Like, come on, Liberia is too beautiful for that. You create a budget. You create a budget of 1.2 billion. Drug dealers come in like and bribe you, and you pay our civil servants $100. You put in the budget party money, celebration money, yeah, entertainment money. But you pay our police people $100, $150. How long do they use that for? 5 days, 10 days. The money finished. They have to go borrow. They are in perpetual debt. What do you expect him to do? He has to feed his family. He has to feed his family. I'm not saying he has to go commit a crime, but the probability of taking that bribe is very high. The probability of looking the other way is very high because we don't take care of our people. We hate our people, we hate ourselves, and we hate our country.
Okay. And then the other one was what role should regional cooperation play?
Yeah. So you have the Mana River Belt, right? All the countries on the Mana River Belt. You have Sierra Leone, Guinea, Liberia, XYZ, Ivory Coast. You find similar things happening in the region. Guinea is overridden with drugs and drug trafficking because they all sit on the Atlantic. You have Sierra Leone, where it has become a kush producer. And I went over it like the last time. They're making kush from chemicals used in paint. Can you imagine consuming chemicals that they make paint with? Kush, part of the formulation is formaldehyde that they steal from mortuaries. The debale. The medicine that they use to embalm the debale.
When she put her
Liberia taking it.
Also, we're laughing.
The medicine, the chemical they can use, that is it Saint Joseph or what a famous debale plenty.
See
National
Moses.
Community Moses. Hey, yeah, thank you, Priscilla.
What did see Moses do?
They chemical as Moses can use to embalm the body there. That it is being mixed in the kush. It makes it super
Hmm.
addictive coming out of the
Somebody,
body.
huh?
Yeah. You have fentanyl produced in Chinese labs. Who's paying attention to the foreign activities happening in our country? Are they
Hmm.
producing fentanyl locally? We know that marijuana is being grown locally. Kush is coming from Sierra Leone. You have drugs coming in from Guinea. The Mano River Union needs to be more of a body that truly works collectively to rid the region of illicit activities, period. It might be wishful thinking, but there are efforts that can be made to reduce, to minimize the level of activities. It's going to take sacrifices by the very leaders in high position, immigration, customs, airport, seaport, to say no to bribes. Say no to bribes. As you read from the Guardian article, NSA director, former Salif, they were willing to pay him $1 million. That was 2010. Sorry, 2009. Imagine what they're offering them today. 10 million, 15 million, 20 million. And NSA director might never see that money. Might never see that money from his regular job. Might never see it. A DEA. The DEA just released names of officers in the DEA who was involved. You talk about which systems are compromised. Even the DEA is compromised. So, like, we have to get serious about ridding our systems of these enablers, these bad actors. That's how we stand a chance. But it's going to take a leader who is morally upright, and surround himself with people, him or herself, with people who maintains similar principle. Otherwise, we are just washing, rinsing, washing, rinsing. The cycle repeats. When I UP time the journey, when I see this time the journey, the same players. We've seen it. Different party kind of journey. It's a network. It's a system that has been orchestrated and will continue to orchestrate for many more years. If we don't have a leader that is serious about ridding Liberia of
Okay.
the activities that it has.
So, Fanta, let me ask you, if you were advising the president today, and you said, again, when I was listening to your broadcast, you said he was the one. I didn't hear that, but I don't think you make up stuff like that. So you say he was the one who said before the administration before his, he asked the question that you now repeating. Um, so if you were that
He didn't
who
ask the question. He made this statement. He said that government is a narco state.
oh he said it. He said he made a statement.
Yeah, transnational. He did.
Oh wow. So if you were advising him today, what would be your top three priorities?
Number one, put Liberia first.
Okay, just like the ordinary person,
Yeah.
like what you told us.
Look, we don't have to overcomplicate solutions, and often that's where we get into trouble. When we
You say
start,
you say in a previous broadcast before we would take money and go have conferences outside the
oh
country
yeah, we are good
as
for
though
that.
the solution needs rocket science, huh?
Yeah, like we're very good for that.
So it's not really
Um,
that complicated.
no, it's not that complicated. It is very look. It takes the will. It takes the will and the love for nation, the love for country. So I would say to him, fall back in every Liberian, fall back in love with Liberia. If you're making a decision, Mr. President, you should ask yourself one question. is the outcome of this decision. Does the outcome of this decision put Liberia first? If it does not,
That's how to ask. Okay.
refrain. Simple. Just look. As a program executive, I was tasked with managing multi-million dollar programs, very strategic, very, very strategic, enterprise wide. And to be able to create an efficient team, efficient pipeline, end-to-end delivery system, I had to move my team away from convoluted PowerPoint PDF documentation processes and reduce them to checklist. Guys, I don't need 100 pages. I would tell my project managers, like, we're not using that. Whatever process it is that you're struggling with, give it to me. I will deduce it into a checklist. That 100 book pages of process, one pager. Number one, this is what we do. Number two, and I found our level of efficiency and delivery increased significantly. So it's simple, simple solutions for what? For problems that seem overly complex. Just ask yourself a simple question. This decision I'm making, does it put Liberia first? Is it going to be beneficial for Liberia? If I ride in B Mountain helicopter when most Liberian or every Liberian are riding on their muddy road, they roll full of so bomb and holes. How is it that me riding in B Mountain helicopter for Liberia first? What kind of optics is it going to give? Do I fully understand the problems of my people? Because I don't immerse myself in their experience. I'm not saying leaders should live like their people. What I'm saying is that immerse yourself in the experience of the everyday person. It helps to ground you. It helps. Look, the most successful CEOs, you know what they do? They don't spend all day in their fancy glass offices. They go around to their sites, to the different departments, and walk their departments. Half the time, most people don't even know what they look like. They make it a habit to blend themselves with their people, to understand from the ground up. So when you have a minister telling you, you can say, no, I was there just yesterday. He wouldn't even know. I was there just yesterday, and this is the actual case. No, let's do it this way. But you don't even have that insight or that knowledge. So surround yourself with people who are also Liberia first. We need to get back to that desperately. First and foremost. Second, remove yourself from associations that will result in you being further compromised. Or the people that influence you. Is it your sons? Is it your advisors who are bringing deals to you or telling you appoint that person or make deal with this other person without any diligence? It doesn't serve you. It does not serve Liberia. Are you surrounded by all yes men? You're never going to get anywhere with all yes men because they all have ulterior motives. They don't care about you. They don't care about the country. Look, as a leader, you don't have to be the most knowledgeable person. Surround yourself. Find the people who know and they have demonstrated that they know and also are principled, and delegate. Delegate. The people you surround yourself with are fake. They have jumped from one pilot to the next. So they are not principled. They don't stand for anything. They move with the wind.
Okay. So so the last part, someone said they don't want to miss an inch of it since we're going to 2 hours. If you what concerns you most about Liberia's future if current trend continues? What gives you hope, and then what concerns you? So that's my final two questions. When Liberians look back 10 years from now, what decisions made today will determine whether Liberia becomes a success story or a cautionary tale like Guinea-Bissau. Let's start with what concerns you, and then maybe we can close with what gives you hope. Because you know, when you were answering a previous question, you said something that I said, oh, at least I have hope, and we laugh about it. Are you looking for a little thing? But I'm sure
Mhm.
you have hope because you love your country. That's why you want this discussion to have the kind of visibility. You discussed that on your platform and you accepted our in that year. So I mean, I know you think there is hope somewhere, but let's start with what concerns you the most about Liberia's future if we continue on this path.
What what concerns me is that uh, the level of infiltration that has happened amongst our people, um, that had found its way to what should be the generation of hope, um, is grave. You find youth, our generation justifying corruption,
Hmm.
justifying illicit acts of the generation that have filled us. Um, and is because most of them rely on those leaders for their socioeconomic welfare. And they are beholding, they are hijacked by those um, kings or big people. They know that the youth are materially poor, and so they manipulate them to do their bidding. And it is something that um, they have become very successful at. A lot of youth will be the one. No, like man, Ariel, my man done it. I'm a brabby. I'm a brabby. They want to do something because they don't have the resources and they rely on that brabby for economic survival. They will be the one propagating those messages.
Hmm.
They will be the one justifying. You try to speak on their behalf and they're fighting you. You're like, can't you see? Can't you see what I'm trying to do? Why aren't you standing right next to me in this advocacy? So our generation can be the ones who actually get to transform Liberia. They have
Hmm.
been conditioned. And so um, that more than anything else breaks my heart because when you're psychologically gone, the impact takes years, sometimes generation to undo. And they
Hmm.
know that it works. Psychological conditioning. Militaries around the world uses it. They use the media. They use community organizations. They use NGOs to psychologically condition a people into accepting and adopting certain narratives. And unfortunately, most of our youth are compromised. Most of them. So the one generation that's supposed to give hope is also, um, yeah,
But I'm sure there is hope somewhere.
you still have a few of us who, no matter what, my risks, my blessings are from God.
Hmm.
The food that sits on my table is from God. Um, I would never, as long as I live, as long as I breathe, I would never bow down. I would never kowtow. I would never submit. I would never be a part of their system. It is rotten. It is deceitful. It is a deviant system who preys on the poor.
Hmm.
It is a system of evil. It is a satanic system. They will sacrifice their mothers, their children. They will sacrifice your children. We see a lot of young children going missing. Whoever asks, where are they getting missing to? They're being used for ritualistic sacrifices. Do we ever ask that question? Do we ever inquire? Our society is becoming more and more evil. And there are still a few people who will stand up and say, you know what? We're all going to die one day, anyways. We all bleed red. You think today you live in a mansion, tomorrow you're going to fall dead. Where are the pharaohs of the world today? Where are the King Kongs of the world today? They're all dead. They left back their mansions. No one had more money, more wealth than them. Where are they? We're doing all of this for greed and for material purposes. I'm not bought, will never be bought. My voice, my person, I will continue to lend to Liberia. That is my service to my people,
Thank
always
you.
advocating for the voiceless. And that is my hope that more people will join us.
Thank you. Please tell us, where can we find you? Hmm.
Oh,
If people want to
mm.
follow you on your platforms, I know you
Yeah,
kind
go
of
ahead.
sorry.
That is
I was trying to take you off.
no, 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 I'm fine. I'm fine. Okay.
Where can we find you? I was trying to. So I have these YouTube. I don't know whether you have a title for it, but I have them up here. So tell us, where can we find you on Facebook, and then
Yeah.
what are your handles on YouTube?
Fanta Kamara Uncensored. My Facebook is FKMBA. That's my personal. And then Fanta Kamara Uncensored on YouTube, Instagram, on Facebook. We're building out our uncensored brand now, um, because so many people have tried to cancel me and I'm just uncancelable. So I'm just like going to build my own platform. And so you have the uncensored brand being built out. But yeah, we are on all the social platforms. So be sure to follow and share our message, because the more you share, the more people are enlightened and educated and are empowered. And that's what they're trying to prevent. They're trying to silence us and to censor us. And we can allow that to happen. So Fanta Kamara Uncensored, everywhere.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you, Fanta. So I have the links to her Facebook and her YouTube is there in the comments there. And the other documents that Fanta shared to my email, I'm going to later share the links because I couldn't just figure out how to open the folder. So I'll share the links so that you know the things she shares so that you can check them out for yourself. But let me just end with this to say, uh, what is a narco state? You know, there is no universally accepted legal definition. Uh, but political scientists, security analysts, and other organizations like the UN Office on Drugs and Crime generally use the term to describe country where drug trafficking organizations exert significant influence over state institutions. Again, some of the evidence was shared, but I'm going to share the rest of them from our guests, and then also you're free to do your own research. So yeah, and when political leaders, military officials, police, judiciary, or government structures are systematically compromised by drug money, um, or when state institutions protect traffickers rather than persecute them, when drug proceeds become deeply integrated into the national economy and political system, when the state becomes dependent on or captured by criminal networks. So I want us to pay attention to this no distinction. But when it comes to country that are transit, it doesn't mean they're automatically a narco state. Many countries serve as trafficking corridors without their governments being controlled by traffickers. And so it sounds like, from all indication, from what I'll get shared and from other again world body, international bodies, that Liberia serves as a logistical corridor for illicit goods, or transit country will be countries that serve as logistical corridor for illicit goods due to their geography, their ports, their borders. We have a porous border. Many times I went to like Ganta and I just walked to Guinea and bought roasted meat because the pieces thicker on our side than in Ganta itself. And then when I go to Alofa, I'll just, again, we all know, I don't even, I mean, for some of us who worked in the rural parts, even go to Foya and then you'll be to Sierra Leone. Or I went to Cape Mount and then I'm standing across the river and there is this little river, it's Manon River. The town are in Cape Mount, and then my host just calling the lady across in Sierra Leone and say, I have a stranger. Please bring the meat when you come in and meat on the dryer. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, that is Sierra Leone. And I could see and in no time, she got on his little kino and pedal to us. So we're all just connected like that. But being a transit point is a matter of geography and infrastructure. We can exist even in countries with strong rule of law and low corruption. Do we have low corruption in Liberia? It is for you to, for you to figure out yourself. But a country becomes a narco state only when the traffickers gain enough power to subvert or capture the state's decision-making processes. So a transit country can be a transit country without being a narco state, provided its institutions remain independent, functional, and resistant to criminal infrastructure. Recently, the evidence that's supporting the concerns that we're discussing is that Liberia has faced persistent narcotic challenges for more than 2 decades, repeated and cocaine interceptions. We all know that. Um, 19 million at Rabo International Airport was intercepted, one of the largest cocaine seizure reported in Liberia history. So the case is what people talking about. Um, so yeah, so we know that Liberia faces a serious and growing narcotic problem. The country is clearly exposed to regional and transnational drug trafficking network, and the rise of coach present a major social and public health threat. With all these large seizures, corruption concern, and institutional vulnerability, um, it justifies this debate or this conversation. However, based on publicly available evidence, it is more accurate for me to describe Liberia as a country at risk of deeper criminal penetration than to definitively label it as a narco state. But the central question for me is not whether Liberia has already become a narco state, but whether its institutions are strong enough to prevent that outcome. If current trend continue for the next 10 years, what does Liberia look like in 2036? That's something for us to think about. Thank you so much for joining us on a new day. Thank you for being a change and for sharing your day with us. Thank you, Fanta, for your relentless advocacy and truth speaking. And you just gained an admirer in me in recent time that I started following your work.
Mhm.
And I appreciate your willingness to just come and have a conversation with us. So thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Priscilla, for having me. Thank you.
And thanks to our viewers for joining us as well. Let's continue the dialogue, elevate our voices, and actively participate in shaping a world where social justice isn't an aspiration but a reality. Join us next time on a new day as we continue to explore and advocate for social reform. Remember, change begins with a conversation. Let's make every day a new day for progress. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in our next episode. It's a new day. It's a new day. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.
and Johnson, and this is focused on Liberia.
We are Liberia. Liberia is our home. Liberia people. Liberia.